so it's just started. It's just started fucking back up itself. I see that it's ended the first part of this. So I never even had to press anything on the OBS. It's just reconnected and started to stream itself, which is bizarre. I don't know what happened, Andrew. No idea. So I don't even know where I was. Baggy Hoop the Techie Touchers, aye indeed. Are you still getting the old stream, Vinny? Because it's saying here on mine that it's just started a new one. So can you still see the old? Let's see here. Let me see. Yeah, it's saying on my channel that maybe it's still processing the last one. Let me see. YouTube Studio. So anyway, I see that it came up in my feed that, you know, the protests are starting to get violent, clashes with police and all this stuff. Oh, what a fucking surprise. Never seen that coming. Alright, I can see that it's there. Right, fuck it. Just need you got the previous video. Right, so I'm going to have to change this one to a minute, because it's not going to continue on, obviously, because it's a separate video now. I'm going to put part 2 in here. Oh fuck. Right. Nah, no Gav. Again, you know, I'm still here, so if anybody wants to join me, you just need to let me know, because I've not really got much else to say, to be honest with you. But I see the I see that the protests are getting violent. Don't worry about it, Santosh, you know. As I say, in the grand scheme of things, building that construct's absolutely nothing. That'll be unbelief. Right, hang on, Gav. So Gav's gonna join. Shut that down, shut that, shut that. no sound. You've not got any sound. Is that the same for everybody?
Alright, my man, you hear me?
How's it going, mate? Can you hear me alright?
Aye, good. Aye.
Yeah, 'cause somebody just says that there's no sound. Oh, that's it. There's people saying that there's sound. Right.
Aye, good.
Hang on. I'm just going to show you up here. Why is it showing that fucking bit? Yeah, I need to shut this YouTube down so that I can share and you'll be seen on the screen. Hold on.
Aye, neighbour.
No, still no. Now it should work. Hey, there we go. Alright, mate, that's you. Now, why is it
Hey,
fucking
who's
showing me? Why is it fucking showing me down there? What is going on here?
Aye, the IT caveman here.
Aye. Yeah, it's showing me in the wee corner. I don't know what's getting presented on the YouTube, but it's showing me down in the wee corner and then you and a wee screen in there as well. But fuck it. See me twice.
Let me check. I can check.
I
the
check
stream.
check the YouTube watch page, mate, to see what's on the screen, would you?
It's showing me down the right hand corner.
No, that's fine, man. That's good. That's all right.
I think that's the way it normally is, isn't it?
Aye, it's just the way it's showing me here. How are you?
Aye, alright, aye. Said I've got a wee holiday next week, so I'm quite happy. To be honest, freedom is just
Freedom, aye.
for a week.
Breaking the shackles of your fucking slavery.
No, that's right. Aye.
Right. Right. As I say,
Oh, well, I just wanted to reiterate some of the points that you've already said, but especially the mathematical part, right?
yeah.
The pervasiveness of mathematics in all the different branches of science, right? What you would call natural science or social science or any of the formal sciences, and maths being one itself, right? Which is all about, trying to quantify things, right?
Yeah.
To put some kind of measure of something on something. That's mathematics is all about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they try and use mathematics to whatever measure intelligence, let's say, right, using some kind of statistical models or questions, or whether they try and use mathematics to measure brain activity or you know what I mean, or even more abstract things like love or hatred, and then all of these things fall flat, right? Because there's no real objective science to it, right? There's no physical substance behind any of these things, right?
No.
They're etherical in a way, right? So they're mental things that you can't grasp,
Yeah.
and then you can attach the mathematics to them
Yeah.
the same way you can attach mathematics to real world substance, right?
Yeah.
So in the old days, that would have been called purely arithmetic and geometry. That's what you applied to the substance, the practical thing still, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and mathematics is a fairly modern invention, right? 250 years, where they've taken this whole doctrine of quantity and ratio and they've applied it to things that are beyond the natural physical world, right?
Yeah.
And that application of mathematics in all these places is one of the biggest problems that we've got, right? Because everybody holds it to be somehow true when it's attached to a mental object, the same way as that it is true when you attach arithmetic and geometry to a physical substance.
Yeah.
They've managed to make us think that it's one and the same thing. It's all mathematics, right? So whatever it, when you attach it to some mental idea or some concept or some cosmological worldview or heliocentric shite, right? Then people think it's true as well, right? Because they're kind of abusing the fact that we know it's true in the real world when you take arithmetic and geometry, right?
Yeah.
So, but in the way that they mix it all up, it makes it really easy for them to tell these stories, right? And this how should I say this, absolute belief that mathematics is true is something that people they have to reject, right? Because it is just a description. Some guy's, fucking language and description of what he thinks he's attaching to a mental object, right? It's nothing physical at all. So,
Well, I mean, language is
anyway, put
that's
that
the
in
thing.
words,
Aye, well, language and language is scribbles and noises. people forget that they had to learn an association. You know, it had to be ascribed to something. You know, and as you're pointing out there, the majority of the mathematics knew that it's not ascribed to anything. It's not in the realms of physicality. You know, but you know, try to say that to people that the physicality comes first and foremost. The scribbles and the noises are secondary. So people really need to grasp that, and they are just scribbles and noises. Then if you start from there, then you can start to see, well, what's it attached to? Where's the physical relevance? Where's the stuff that it's talking about? You know, and if you don't have the stuff, then just dismiss it.
Absolutely. I mean, you see where it leads. It just leads to crayons and cartoons and science fiction films, right? There's nothing, you know, all visual imagery or emotional manipulation or stories and narratives, right?
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing physical about any of these things whatsoever, right?
No.
But they managed to get the whole world to look to the stars, right? Think about all these cartoons, right? And attach, you know, physical properties to them. And there are none, right? The only physical properties you have is the arithmetical and geometrical forms of physical substance and practicality there, right? You know, but as I say, there's a wonderful mix that they make. So you believe the mathematics of the natural world, right? You need to believe the mathematics of my fucking fantasy. Fuck off,
exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
You shouldn't be giving that authority to anybody, you know?
No. And at the same time, you know, I don't deny, people get this misconception that, you know, I deny there's an ethereal aspect to experience. We have emotion, we have an internal, you know, experience. There is these things going on, but it's a separate issue when we're trying to establish objectivity, the world of substance and material, and the cause and effect relations and interactions. It's a different thing. It's not that, you know, when we talk about this, we're talking about trying to establish what the objective is, you know, and what the claims are. It doesn't mean to say that I negate, or neither do you, I'm not speaking for you, but I know you don't deny that there's an ethereal, you know, component or aspect to experience, but it's a separate subject altogether, you know?
Absolutely. And you were asking the question of what do people value about this life earlier on, you know, I was listening in, and so one of the things, obviously, as you say, other sentience, right?
Yeah.
But what's associated with that, I feel, is the ability to discover and explore the ways of connecting to other sentience, right?
Yeah.
You know, I would dearly miss that when I'm dead, because I'm not sure if you get it afterwards.
If you've not got any awareness, how you got to miss it?
Exactly, you know.
So there's
a certain enjoyment I'm getting from that, you know what I mean? Which is why I want life to continue by and large, you know.
Of course.
So that was just my thought on that.
Aye, and you know, I put my attention to that. You know, it's like, you know, I get a joy out of alleviating suffering. You know, which, you know, is a place relevance and focus on, because if we're here and we're having this experience and we can alleviate these things, let's fucking try and get rid of them and eradicate them. But still, at the same time, I don't cling to the life as if, you know, it has any relevance or importance to me whatsoever. But, you know, I do value certain aspects, you know, just as you say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's the family attachment that you have naturally, right?
Yeah.
As you know, you are the product of two genders, right?
Yeah.
You know?
I'm sure. There's 47 other ones to choose for, Gav. You're being narrow-minded.
Obviously I'm an intolerant fucker. But we can talk about any words you want, you know, I'm not bothered about that. But you know, physically speaking, we're the product of, you know, obviously two genders, right? As you say, that's so there's that family attachment, which is something that you kind of inherently value.
Yeah.
At least, you know, as a child, you're, you know, absolutely, you know, dependent and emotionally and physically dependent to begin with, right? So that's something I think that stays with you. The umbilical cord might get cut, right, at birth, but, you know, I feel there's still a, how should I say, that close sentience, right, with any family member, generally speaking, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're estranged, obviously, which,
so. And it's funny, innit, you know, because it's like, you know, we're always pursuing joy and pleasure and trying to, you know, get away from the pain and, you know, the angst or any kind of thing that we would term as negative. So there's, you know, so I'm always curious about that as well. But I forget where I was going there. But
and one good example again of the use of, or the abuse of mathematics, right, or the abuse of our minds through fucking mathematics is the better way to say it, I think. It's the whole, COVID stuff, right?
Yeah.
Or put it this way, the measure of a virus,
Yeah.
How to quantify a virus, right? So obviously there's lots of mathematical models that you can use, right? And usually they're reliant on some base philosophy, right? So if you're talking about quantities and how to quantify things, are you going to quantify motion? Are you going to quantify time? Are you going to quantify, right? Are you going to quantify physical substance? It all needs to be taken into account, right? But so when people start to come up with these theories of what to quantify and how to do it, then I forgot where I was going with that too. But
that's
basically,
base philosophy of a virus. You were talking, I know where you were going. What's your base assumption? What you presupposing a virus is, and then formulating mathematical patterns or predictions based on that presupposition.
Okay. And because I watched the video, so this is second-hand information, so Achtung. But Neil Ferguson, I think the guy's name, a mathematician at the Imperial College in London, was apparently the guy that is, how should I say, the guru when it comes to making mathematical models about certain things. And it was the same with the foot and the mouth disease. With the animals, was it 20 years ago or 15 years ago, where they culled 6 million animals in Britain, right?
Yeah.
On the basis of a mathematical model that predicted if you didn't do it, we were all going to die, right? Basically, right? I'm paraphrasing, right? But it's so, and you see it playing out again, right? And the use of mathematics and convincing people that this is some kind of eventuality that we have to accept, or we take the protective, umbrella of the government, right, or some other authority, right? Anyway, I don't want to go too much into it. I'm mainly focused on the fact that mathematics is again at play there, right, and convincing the whole world that they need to do introduce social policies, right?
Yeah.
So that's one aspect, and the other aspect I think that is really, really analogous to the whole discussion of the flat level Earth deal is people knowing their own minds, right?
Yeah.
But seeing also, how these policies that we're all being placed under actually affect you, right?
Yeah.
And to look and understand what it's doing to you and your mental state, right?
Yep.
Or your dreams, your desires, or to your rational view of the world, right? So all of these things, cut to the chase and look at the real physical facts, right?
Yeah.
And that'll tell everybody your own truth, right? Without you having to listen to some other idiot, right? Or somebody with some agenda to push, right? So these two aspects, I think, the abuse of mathematics, right? And the way they manipulate people's minds, right?
Yeah.
And or the very fact that we don't understand enough about them, right? We don't pay attention to the effect it's having on us, right?
Exactly.
That we don't deep dive, we don't detail our thoughts, we don't try and learn from the things. We just go from 1 minute to another, switch on the TV, switch the channel, get distracted,
Aye. And that's it for me. It is a distraction, this whole COVID thing, and it's evident in the policies that they push. I mean, right now it's that fucking ridiculous. And we spoke about this the last time, what it actually does to you, psychologically. Because I know it's fucking pish, I'm nobody's fucking bitch. I'm not putting a muzzle on for no cunt. And the thought of having to do it just cripples me inside to the point where I'll cut my nose off to spite my face. So, no, I'm not going to fucking go there. I'm not going to do anything to comply with anybody's fucking wishes or demands. And right now it's like, to show you what I'm saying, about how it's like a distraction, and it's not really about this virus. It's evident in the policy because, I showed it at the beginning of this, you'd Boris Johnson talking about how we're only concerned about the vulnerable and the elderly, right? And then very quickly within the space of 3 weeks it cascaded into it's everybody, and it can get in your eyes and it can do all this mad fucking stuff. So now it's at the point where I go to the gym, right? You can walk into the gym, it's all the one fucking area. You don't need to wear a mask, people can exercise, they're walking past each other, they've got this daft one-way system. But then you get into the cafeteria. Okay, and in the cafeteria, it's only a small space. It's the length of this. It's maybe another half this in length. And not as far wide. So you walk in there and you have to wear a mask to go up to the counter to ask for your food, and then literally 30 centimetres away, I can sit down and take my mask off. So you're looking at people and going, look, can you not see what's happening here? How absurd is this? This is no about a wee body snatcher jumping from people to people through their eyeballs and whatever else. This is a massive distraction that's going on right now. And people better start asking fucking questions about what's actually going down, because it's got fuck out to do with alien body snatchers. Do you know what I mean? But it's the psychological, implications of that. What are you, as talking from like a man's point of view and having pride and a bit of integrity and fucking a spine,
He's on you.
I'll put this wee mask on because some fucking dick sniffer on the telly says so. Although I'm analysing it on going, well, wait a minute, it's all fucking contradictory and ridiculous. How can I walk in here and then sit? Does this virus know that it's not allowed to get anybody that's sitting down? I mean, what the fuck's going on?
If you're eating spaghetti, it doesn't attack.
Aye,
yeah.
But the people in there are saying things like, it's to minimise mobility so that you're not. I'm going, what? They're just saying all this stuff and they're obviously hearing it through the fucking TV screen and they're just repeating it and it doesn't make any sense. But they're all complying with it.
That's right.
It's fucking bizarre. But
it seems to me that all these inconsistencies are actually there to make the people even more bewildered.
Aye, but what we spoke about and what it does to you internally, it's like if you know something's not right, but you still acquiesce to that, then that's going to have a knock-on effect on you emotionally and psychologically.
Absolutely. You have a shite feeling when you do it. You've always got a shite feeling. You're always disappointed in yourself if you do that. Always.
Aye, it's lowering your self-esteem, your pride, because you're conforming to something that you know is absolute pish, but you don't have the spine to stand up and say, no, fuck you. And again, it's evident in that because, when I'm in somewhere at the gym, pretty much 90% of the people are saying how ridiculous it is. But then they'll still comply, putting the masks on and walking around the one-way system, and you're like, just take it off and say, fuck you. What's going to happen? Nothing. But it's all under this emotional sway about our business and it'll cause trouble for us, and it's all loaded with this, again, fallacious reasoning through emotional influence. And again, it goes back to that discernment and people not understanding the mind, language, the trivium. If we had all that stuff, people would just be going, fuck off.
Fuck.
Aye. Mental.
I think all these little inconsistencies that are about, there's so many of them, the mask itself, as I think it's Glenn that said it, but it's much use as keeping out mosquitoes with a chain link fence,
I know.
And there's so many of these things where if in lived life that what they're saying that just doesn't jive, right? There's too many inconsistencies in the story. That's when I think where common sense kicks in, right? I mean, that's lived life, right? The stuff that you contend with daily, and you say to yourself, that can't be right. Hold on, that's not logically correct. This argument doesn't make sense, or it's a fallacious piece of reason, or it's a red herring. So you gotta look at all these things.
People are compromising themselves in order to maintain their sense of stature or wealth or whatever, their business. It's like you can really see that. It's like, no, you're not standing up for what's right here. You're standing up to protect your wee fucking false delusion, which is seriously fucked, So it's, in a way, it's exposing the mindset of people and where they're actually at and what they're willing to put up with in order to preserve their wee fucking piece of the pie. Do you know what I mean?
It does. It exposes them. You're right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then they'll say to you,
or the pride, or the all these things, all curled into a wee ball.
Aye.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold on to something.
I'll bend down and take it up the arse as long as I can keep my wee trinkets. Fucking brilliant.
And it's obviously the policy. I mean, the problem is we've got all these weaklings and spastics in politics still, Generally speaking, the people that go into that, are just, how should I say, so they surround themselves with more mediocrity and then they get these feelings of power. So you've got people manipulating people at the end of the day, right? Just in the way that they're thinking and emotionally attached, So But these policies then make companies, whatever, pay for, you have to do a fine if you don't wear one. And then the policies also influence the social behavior, right? The stigma around the whole thing, right? The guilt feelings that you're supposed to get, right? So all these things are played out then in the media. But we're allowing weaklings to push us around, we should just be taking off the mask and saying, fuck
but it's
off.
permeating right into the, as I say, you're getting emotionally swayed. Well, people are trying to emotionally sway you. Oh, just do it for me because I'll lose my business. Oh, fucking, don't put me in that position, because I tell you what, I'm going to cut my nose off, I'm going to walk away and fuck you. You know? So it causes a divide, and I'm starting to feel that kind of conflicted in myself, and no want to participate in it, at the expense of maybe losing apparent friendships. But then again, what is the friendships when you can't have people that are applying reason and logic? If they could apply that and state it to me through that kind of means, then maybe I would be on board with it. But when it's just emotional gibberish with no facts and nothing attached to it, then I can't deal with that.
No, they've got no right to put you in that position then if they haven't done their own homework and their own hairstyle. But
they're being given that right, as you say, because it's coming from higher up through the fucking media, the politicians, because they're using, that's the tools that they're fucking using. So, well, they're using it so right for me to...
I can just pass that on to Dale. We'll just use it, right? And everybody does it. Well, I know what you mean.
Bunch of wee opinionated fucking snowflakes and controllers running about the place.
Right. And they don't want to give up the wee sense of power that they have now, right?
Exactly.
I think it was some of the stuff we've been talking about. I saw it in a video. Was it Paul Weston? The guy's name was. I thought he was quite articulate in how he showed how the fear, the muzzle stuff, and all that.
Yeah.
It's well worth to watch that, I think.
Aye. It just reaffirms that there's something to be scared of, and that the fucking Big Brother's there to protect and look after you. Although it's a fucking absolute walking contradiction. But...
Yep. And it's the same acquiescence to authority that they've done with science, right? So what's playing out in politics plays out in medicine, it plays out in the media, plays out in the science, right?
Yep.
So it's all over the fucking place. And as I say, mathematics plays a huge role in it.
I just hope it's
and the academic population,
I hope it's a mass breakdown, and what's happening is it's all getting revealed about who the fucking mongs are, and where all the problems are lying, because that's what you can see. You can start to identify it. It becomes ever clearer as days go on,
I think you're pretty right, I think that people without a muzzle would be the first people I'd want to speak to, Dale,
I hope it's the alien overlords picking the fucking good people to go and live in a nice place. You know what I mean? Fucking leave all the spastics here. They can all eat each other and fucking mask each other up all day long. We'll be away fucking dancing and playing guitars and having a party.
That sounds like a fucking plan. The unmuzzled get to leave the pub.
They'll come during the night, chat the door, right, come on, party's this way. Alright.
No, something you wish you couldn't come quicker, eh?
Yeah, I know. I could tell me about it.
Right, so we'll have a few chats maybe during the week, my man, eh?
Aye, definitely. As I say, I want to get some of these optic things done, and we'll do some wee things centred around that. Just highlight and pose some questions for people, encourage paying attention to certain things. So, good stuff, mate. Aye, I'll catch up with you.
I've got the energy for that, so.
Good stuff, mate.
See you later.
Alright, man. Take it easy.
See ya.
See you soon. I need to open this back up here so I can see what's going on. Right. Here we are. Smell's an interesting thing, isn't it? Marty was saying that the other day as well. It's curious how a smell can permeate through something, some other material. See, every avenue you go, there's just more questions. You know, things that you take for granted, and you start to apply your attention to it, it becomes ever more curious. Oh, it's particles, it's mini space balls. Magical mini space balls, everything's mini space balls. Right. Let me see here. So as I say, people, I never really had much else to say this evening. Time away on. Anybody get anything they want to offer up before I get? I'm quite hungry anyway, so. That's what I was saying about, you know, going to somewhere like the gym. When you're in the actual gym space, you know, people are fucking exerting themselves, breathing heavier, they're more mobile, they're sweating, they're spraying all sorts of fluids everywhere. But that's all fine, that's all good until you go into the cafeteria where the fucking alien corona body snatchers waiting to pounce on you. Right. I'll catch you all soon, people, alright? Take it easy. Just say we'll be on through the week with some bits and bobs.